Hi, Nick Osborne here, aka the Coffee Detective, and today we are going to look at the DripJoy K-Cup brewer and coffee subscription service. So this is kind of interesting. We've reviewed plenty of brewers here before, and I've reviewed plenty of subscription services, but I've never reviewed a subscription service that includes the brewer, and that's what you get with the DripJoy. So when you sign up at DripJoy, you decide how much coffee you want. It's like a regular subscription home delivery service. So you figure out how much coffee you want and the frequency that you want it delivered. Now, DripJoy is set up for office use and home use. If you are an office user and you have several coffee drinkers in the office, then you're probably going to end up getting the DripJoy free with your subscription. For myself, in our family, where there are just 2 coffee drinkers, I was having a look at the kind of application process. I mean, this is a review machine, but I was looking at the application process, and what would happen with us is we'd get this at about a heavily discounted price, less than half what its regular price is. So it really depends. If you have a lot of coffee drinkers, then you're going to get the machine free as part of your subscription. If there's only 1 or 2 of you drinking coffee, you're going to get this at a heavily discounted price. And currently, this machine is only available through this service, through dripjoy.com. Right, so a review of the machine. K-Cup machine, so the brew head is, whoops, there's my last cup of coffee in there. You can see the used K-Cup. The brew head is the same as pretty much any K-Cup brewer. A couple of things I like right off the bat is I like the fact that this is a fairly slim machine, even though it's for kind of office and home use. We don't have a ton of counter space in our kitchen, and I like it when brewing systems are not too bulky, not too broad. So that's good. It's a solid machine. Like I say, it's made for office use as well as home use. So you're kind of getting that office grade construction, which again I appreciate. One of the things I was slightly worried about at the beginning was that maybe the water tank was a little small. The water tank, you can actually lift out the tank and fill it under the sink, or you can pour water in, with a jug. I thought it might be a little small, but it turns out not. It's actually the same capacity as on my regular drip brewer, so you've got a kind of whole carafe worth of water in there, which works fine. So I'm just going to put coffee in here. And it's kind of interesting. A lot of K-Cup brew heads, you actually push down to close this. Here, you actually kind of push it up, and it locks behind that button there. Now, at this point, I can choose the size of the coffee. I'm at 8 ounces at the moment. It could be 10, could be 12, could be 6. 8 works for me. In terms of the coffees, they offer 7 different coffees. I got a kind of dark roast here, a Colombian coffee here. They do the 7 different types. There's a decaf in there. There's a couple of flavored choices in there. So you got plenty of coffees to choose from. Right, so the next thing I really like about this machine, I'm going to demonstrate right now when I press the button. And that is that this is not a noisy machine. If you go back and look at some of the reviews I've done of other single serve brewers, you'll notice at this point I have to start raising my voice to compete with the noise of the pump, because very often the pumps in these brewers are extremely noisy. Not so here. I don't know how they do it, but I really appreciate that. The second thing I really like about this machine is, you get a hint of it from the steam here, is that it brews hot. You can actually, if you go through the instruction manual, you can adjust this to any brewing temperature between 176 and 198 degrees Fahrenheit. I can't remember exactly what the factory setting is, but it's probably midway between those two. But the point is it brews hot enough to really extract the flavor out of the coffee, and that's not always the case. The second thing is that, and maybe the folk at DripJoy, maybe they would appreciate me mentioning this, but we drink in the house, we drink coffee through till probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But later in the afternoon, I like to make tea. So I've been using this to make myself a hot mug of tea, so I can hot mug of water, so I can brew some tea. Most single serve brewers do not make the water hot enough to make tea. So I've kind of really appreciated that about this machine as well, because it kind of does double duty for me from, first thing that I get up in the morning right through to the evening when maybe I'll make myself a herbal tea. So that is great. So all in all, I like the fact, I like that it has a narrow footprint. I like that it has solid construction. I like that it brews hot. I like I have choices here in terms of the brew size. And the whole thing about a subscription service based on single serve K-cups, I kind of like, because I still, after all these years, struggle to figure out exactly how many pounds of coffee beans do we drink in a week or 2 weeks or whatever. I should be able to figure it out by now, but it's always a bit fuzzy in my head. But if you ask me how many cups of coffee we both drink each day, then I can very quickly figure out how many K-cups I'll need for the week to keep us both in coffee. So kind of a neat idea, a subscription service based on K-cups, and one that includes a really nice machine. So if that sounds interesting to you, just go to dripjoy.com and you can find out more. Okay, I hope you found that useful. Thank you. Bye.